Hi everyone! Welcome to Molehill Mountain episode 408. Okay, so officially started the podcast. So Chaos is in the chat talking about he saw Superman and I want to see Superman, but Superman's double featuring with itself at the drive-in and I don't want to pay to see the same movie twice in a row, so I'll wait till it's streaming. I was talking to my sister, we were recording movie mandates the other night, and was it last night? It was last night. And she was saying, I'm going to go see Superman on Tuesday, and then I'm going to go see Fantastic Four when that comes out in 2 weeks. And what she was marveling at is she's not the biggest fan of Superman or the Fantastic Four as characters. Generally speaking, and I get where she's coming with this, she's not the biggest fan of super strong characters like Superman or Hercules, although she really likes the Hulk. The problem with Superman for many writers is he's nigh all powerful, and that is a challenge for a lot of writers to write interesting stories about a guy who not only punches real hard, but can almost not be hurt and is infinitely strong and is the bestest guy and has a photographic memory and is as fast, if not faster, than the Flash. It's like he has every power set, and it's like, oh, come on, that's just boring. So I get where she's coming from. She doesn't dislike Superman, he's just rarely interests her. And same thing with Fantastic Four, she doesn't like stretchy heroes. And while Elastigirl I thought was used cleverly in The Incredibles, I'm kind of on board. I've never been a fan of stretchy heroes like Mr. Fantastic. I can't stand Plastic Man. Um, Stretch Armstrong can go jump in a lake. But she's excited for both movies. And I was kind of surprised that she talked about Franklin Richards in the Fantastic Four. I'm like, oh, you not a big fan of the Fantastic Four, but you not only know who Franklin Richards is, but you intuited it based on the title of the film, First Steps. Because when I first heard that, I was like, oh, little Franklin's going to be in this. He's kind of a big deal. And she says, well, no, not really. Although apparently he's little Franklin's in one of the latest trailers, which I haven't seen. So he's in the marketing now. So cat's out of the bag. But Jeremy, the guy she lives with, is a big comic book dork. And he will sit you down and explain the lore. All of it. So my sister has a benefit of someone who's very knowledgeable about comic book superhero minutia. So she's pretty up to speed on most of the needs to know regarding superhero films that are in the theater. Chaos is happy to say that James Gunn really seems to understand the character of Superman, unlike Zack Snyder. Chaos goes on, she'll really like the Superman. I only saw Man of Steel, and I don't know that if it's a case, I might change my mind once I get around to seeing Batman v Superman and Justice League, but I don't know that it was a matter of Snyder misunderstanding the character. I think he just wanted to do something different with him, which is fine. Whether I like it or not, it's fine. I just don't think he did it very well. I mean, if you want to make a kind of a mopey Superman who feels as if his powers and using them is just it's a fucking drag, man. It's like, all right, I'll save these people. It's like, well, that's an interesting take. It's not necessarily wrong. I don't care for it, I'll admit, but it's fine. The problem I had with Man of Steel, which I thought was okay, I didn't think it was like terrible. I was just like, it's all right. Probably the big, like, a lot of people will cite the neck snap, Superman killing Zod at the end of the movie, and be like, that's a betrayal of the character. I don't see it the same way. I don't have a problem with the Superman who kills. I don't have a problem with a Batman who uses a gun, right? I mean, if you want to, that's generally speaking kind of a no guns is the touchstone of the character, but shake things up a bit, that's fine. The problem I had with that scene, where Soup snaps Zod's neck, is, well, number one, it's not staged very well. It's not staged in a manner. What the filmmakers wanted you to feel is that Superman was in a catch-22. He had to kill Zod, or though that family of people were going to get laser zapped all to hell. And I appreciate that conundrum. Oh no, what is Superman going to do in this case? And he breaks his neck. And it's like, okay, that's possibly an interesting conundrum for, a super powerful being to face, right? The problem's twofold, I think. One, the scene is staged in a way where it's like, you could have done any number of other things, really. I don't think killing him was... It didn't... False dichotomy. It didn't seem like these people die or Zod dies. Of course, you could argue it's like, I mean, if it's not these people, it's going to be some other people. I've got to kill him, or he's just eventually just going to blow up the world. Of course, at that point in the film, Zod had already killed, I don't know, 100,000 people in downtown Metropolis. I don't know what the death toll there is, but that world ender machine, or whatever the hell it was just like picking people up and slamming them on the ground. I'm like, oh, they ain't surviving that. For me, the biggest problem is Superman faces a choice, and he makes his choice. He snaps Zod's fool neck, and then he looks at the metaphorical blood on his hands, realizes what he's done, and cries out to the heavens, no! Well, I don't think he says no. I think he just anguished, pained cry for what he felt he had to do. He crossed a line. He violated his moral code. And the problem I have with that is not the fact that he did, not the choice he made, but there's literally nothing in the movie to establish that killing a dude is something that Soups just won't do. As a fan of comic books, I know who Superman is, and I can kind of intuit the idea using external sources that Superman killing someone is something that Soups is not cool with. But there's nothing in... This is clearly a different Superman, a different take on Superman, which is great. But there's nothing in this movie to suggest that Superman's like, okay, I'll help people, but I won't kill anyone. That's just a step too far. I'll, massive destruction and, if someone's mean to me, I might destroy their livelihood. The trucker with his truck at the beginning of the movie. It's a big pain in the ass, but I'll save people. But killing people would really make my heart cry. There's nothing in the movie that establishes that, so him crying out in anguish pain over what he had to do makes no damn sense. It's just not good storytelling. In fact, with the people who raised him, I'm actually surprised he has a problem with killing people that are endangering the entire population of the planet. I mean, his dad's the guy who's like, golly, gee willikers, Dad, what was I supposed to do? Just let a bus full of school children drown to death? And his father, in his, empathetic Midwestern way, said, I don't know, maybe. Dad, I can use my super speed to save you from the hurricane, or whatever the hell the natural disaster is in the middle of the movie. He's like, no, just let me die. I think Pa Kent was depressed in that movie, honestly. And Ma Kent wasn't much better. She's like, son, you can save people. You have great power. You could save the world. Or don't. They don't owe you a fucking thing. I'm like, wow. Different take on Superman. So with this kind of upbringing, And his big mopey sighs about, yeah, this means hope. You can tell from the color palette of the movie. You wouldn't know, but this costume is actually blue. I know it looks kind of a dullish gray because of the way we're color timing the movie, but it's actually blue. So it means hope. Yeah, everything looks real hopeful from the color grading to your actions. And then you get to the end of the movie and he snaps someone's neck who murdered 100,000 people in Metropolis, promised to, just extinguish human life from the planet. And he's like, no, I killed someone. It's like, where the hell did that even come from? Why is that a big... There was nothing in the film that established that that would be a problem, that would be a line crossed. And that's, one of the issues I had with the movie. But, I mean, it's got Superman in it, and he flies around and he punches stuff, so there's fun to be had. Stuff explodes. I was never bored watching the movie. I just didn't think it was that good. And I have not seen Batman v Super... I cannot believe they went with that title. Batman v Superman. Dawn of Justice. I seriously thought that was a joke. I was like, they're not going to go with that title. They're going to... That's like a... We're just filming it under that... No, they went with that title. Oh, anyway. Superman in the new movie is not all powerful. He certainly has limitations. That's the impression I'm getting from the marketing. Yeah. This Superman he's super strong and he can take a licking, but he can also get hurt. There's a big scene where he crashes in, I don't know, Antarctica or wherever the hell he is, and it's, I think I popped a lung. Help me, Superdog! And Superdog wants to play and is beating the shit out of him. He's gets lit on fire by a big goofy look. I love how goofy looking that giant kaiju is. I genuinely, it's almost googly eyed. It's kind of cute. I love it. Yeah, I love the fact that Superman can take a beating. I also kind of found it interesting that, at least from the few clips in the marketing that I've seen, Superman Clark Kent is kind of going in opposite direction from the way most people portray the character. Usually Superman is, aha, I'm Superman, yes. And Clark Kent is, oh gosh, gee willikers, right? This seems to be kind of opposite. Like the Superman portrayal has kind of a higher, dorkier voice. It's like, guys, golly. And the few clips I've seen of Clark Kent, he's like speaking in a little bit lower of a register. It's like, I'm Clark Kent of the Daily Planet. It's like, it's an interesting flip there. So yeah, no idea if the movie's good. Looking forward to it, but, I've liked all of James Gunn's movies, so, I think it's pretty good bet that I'll enjoy it. Also, I'm a big dork for superhero movies. Even though I still am loath to watch the ones I haven't watched, because that I've been doing a series on YouTube, superhero dork finally watches whatever. I've done like 10 of those, and they've all been bad, so I just stopped doing that for 2 years. And then I watched another one several months ago, Ghost Rider, and that was bad too. And I'm like, I just don't want to. I seem to have skipped all the movies for a good reason, so maybe I'll never get around to seeing Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. God, that name. It's the dumbest name. Batman v Superman, like it's a legal drama or something. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice was playing on an airplane that I was riding at some point, and I just didn't watch it. Partially because I wasn't going to pay $3 or whatever it is for the headphones to watch it, and partially because I just did not care. I was probably playing handheld games or something like that. But I do remember I looked up like 3 times during the movie, and each time I saw something either stupid or just kind of gobsmacking. I may be wrong about the movie. Maybe I'm misremembering stuff that I actually saw in um, um, Man of Steel, but I think it's the Batman v Superman. Um, there's a scene somewhere in the movie where Superman is facing down a guy who is holding a hostage, and I don't remember if it's like Lois or Jimmy or someone. I just remember there's a guy holding someone with a gun to their head, and Superman's like, haha, I'm Superman. And somehow the hostage gets pushed away or something, so Superman has like a clear shot at this guy. And Superman just lurches forward and rams this guy at top speed, blasting him through the brick wall behind him, and then what I think through more walls behind that. And I'm like playing Nintendo DS or 3DS or something, and I look up, I'm like, oh, how's Superman gonna resolve this situation? I'm like, oh, Jesus, he just pasted that. That guy's dead. That guy is pulp. There is no way he survived that. Superman just slammed a guy through a brick wall at full speed. This guy got atomized. I guess he's like, well, I mean, once you kill one guy, what's a couple more? I don't know. Maybe there's a scene later where you see the guy being carried away on a stretcher with little Tweety birds circling above his head or something. It is Lois? Okay. I was like, holy shit, he just murdered the shit out of that guy. Oh, maybe it makes context. Maybe it makes sense within the context of the movie. I'm not judging the movie by one small scene that I saw in the middle, but I was like, whoa. This has a very dead man right there. And I went back to playing. And I looked up a little bit later, and Superman was standing in a courtroom or something. So maybe it's called Batman v Superman because Superman gets sued by Batman? That would be kind of funny. I doubt that's the case, but there appears to be like some court proceeding at some point in the movie. So Superman is standing in court, full Superman regalia, and the courtroom just blows up while he's standing in there. Superman, like, didn't save the day. Like, he didn't, like, sniff out the bomb or hear it ticking or, like, look around with his X-ray vision and, like, oh my gosh, a bomb, I've got to save these people. No, it seems to catch him completely by surprise. Again, I've not seen the movie. Maybe there's some context here. Maybe he's under the weather because of kryptonite. I don't know. I was just looking up and I see this scene. He's standing in a courtroom and suddenly it explodes, seemingly killing everyone in the building. And Superman, of course, because, he's Superman, he's just standing there because, the bomb doesn't affect him any. He's standing there perfectly fine. The corpses of dozens of people smoldering around him in the smoking ruins of this courthouse. And you might think Superman might be upset by this turn of events. He might be like, oh gosh, oh no, oh, this wasn't very super. Oh man, there was a ball and I dropped that ball. Oh, man. Oh, that would have been so cool if I knew that bomb was there or heard it or saw it or sniffed it and just, like, grabbed the bomb and then punched through the roof and then flew up into outer space and then chucked it into the sun and I'd come back down and people would be, like, clappity-clapping. Oh, my God, Superman saved us. No, everybody's dead. Oh, no. But no, he doesn't seem horrified by the fact that everyone around him just blew up. He actually looks really kind of irritated. Like, this is just another big pain in the ass. He's standing there like, oh, God, this is gonna be such a pain in the ass. Oh, man. I don't know what this court proceeding is about, but there's gonna be another court proceeding because of this. This is gonna be paperwork. Oh, God, being Superman sucks. That's the kind of vibe I was getting from him. Not, oh no, oh gosh, oh the humanity, but like I cannot be bothered with this bullshit. So I went back to playing my game. Is there another scene? I'm trying to I'm pretty sure I looked up a third time, and I'm trying to think if I saw something. I don't, I can't think of anything else from the movie, so uh the third time I looked up may have just been people standing around talking. So, but now again, I'm not saying the movie's bad from a 30-second clip of the middle of the movie. I'm sure there's some context that explains what I saw, but without that context, that's pretty damn funny. So, maybe I'll see it someday. The problem is, it's like Justice League. Do I watch the theatrical version or the director's cut? Or both? Uh, I actually watched John Wick 4 today. I was like, oh, hey, John Wick 4. Cool, I'll watch that. And when it's 3 hours! And it was slightly short of 3 hours, but I was like, oh my god, this movie's long. I did watch the whole thing, but whew, long movie. Well paced though, so my buns did not go numb, but long movie. Chaos, another example of Zack Snyder and the writers not getting Superman. Again, I haven't seen the movie, but again, I don't know that that's not getting the character. It feels to me like a deliberate choice to make a new version of Superman, right? But it's weird because my understanding is the Superman dies at the end of Batman v Superman. I think the Doomsday bites his head off or something like that, and so they like bury him, and then Batman and Wonder Woman are like, he was the best of us. He was like the shining light, the beacon for all humanity. I was like, did you not see the previous movie? No, he was not. Again, don't have the context from the movies, but my read on Man of Steel and the very small bits I've seen of the subsequent films is not that he doesn't get the character. I think he gets the character. I think he just wanted to do something different with it and didn't do it very well. Right? Again, I don't have a problem with someone wanting to make a Superman who's dark and brooding. Okay. I feel like that's kind of Batman's job, but whatever. Different takes on a character are fine. I may not like it, but I respect you going in a different direction. It just has to make sense within the context of the story that you're telling, and being upset over snapping Zod's fool neck in the context of that film up to that point did not seem like something that Superman would be upset by. So, anyway, did not expect to spend half of the podcast talking. This topic isn't even on my list. What is on my list is Astro Bot. Apparently this was updated a couple of days ago, but my PS5 didn't update. I just ran across the news that Astro Bot had updated a couple days ago at some point. So I updated it this afternoon and played through it. There's 5 new levels and 5 new bots to collect. I've got 4 of them. I'm working on the last one. The problem is with playing a game like this, even though it is pretty simple, I haven't played it in 4 months, so I don't remember how anything works. It's like, oh, I don't know how to interact with these things. What buttons do what? Luckily, it's a really simple game, so you figure it out fairly quickly. But it is difficult when they release challenging levels, and I mean, not ball-bustingly hard, but a nice little challenge, which they become a lot harder when you haven't played the game in 4 months and don't remember how anything works. Not just the controls, but what the various elements in the environment do. It's like I don't know what to do with this thing. Why I can't jump this gap? What am I supposed to do? Oh, you're supposed to do the spinny thing so that it extends the platform. Oh yeah, I vaguely remember that. Um, some months ago, end of last year, whenever it was, I talked about the special bots in the guest characters in Astro Bot, and one of the things that I noticed, and I'm sure everyone else did too, is no Square Enix characters. Like you'd expect to see like Final Fantasy VII characters in there, right? Or some of the classic Squeenix RPGs and such. And and I'm sure everyone else assumed that the licensing issues, Squeenix said no. Well, here they are. Because the first character I unlocked, I think, was Cloud. I'm like, there we go, Final Fantasy VII. Then there's the guy from Chrono Cross. And there's a 2B from Nier Automata. I'm like, there we go. And then there's the new lady from Ghost of Yōtei. Yōtei? I'd have to look at the spelling to see how it's... I think it's Yōtei. She's in there. That's not Square Enix, but the game's coming out in a couple months, so... I don't know who the fifth character is. Maybe another Squeenix character. If I had to put money on it, I would say probably another of the Final Fantasy VII cast. And if there's only one more, I'm thinking it's probably Sephiroth. Because I don't think it would be Tifa if Aerith isn't in there. So if there's only one more character, it's either going to be not another Final Fantasy VII character, but if Cloud's in there, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Sephiroth. So we'll see. I'm sure you already know, and I could Google it myself, but I don't care that much. I'll just play it again later tonight, beat the stage, see who the final bot is, and anyway. Fun that they're updating this, although I would prefer they made a level with, like, puzzle pieces and stuff, instead of these challenge obstacle courses, which are fine. Although, Asobi, I forget what the name of the studio who does this game, they really need to learn to, their levels are always very creatively designed, but they often fail to teach you how the new elements that they're introducing work in a safe way. Usually they will introduce a new stage gimmick in a way that if you don't know how to work with it and you get it wrong, you're just going to die. Which isn't that big a deal because your restarting is very, very quick. So it's not that big of a deal. But it is kind of frustrating to die because you just don't know how the stage gimmick works. You know, general good game design principles are allow the player to experiment with a new stage gimmick in a safe space so that they understand how to work with the gimmick, and then, you know, put the gimmick over a bottomless pit, so if they get it wrong, they fall to their deaths and have to restart. You know, don't introduce it to them in a place where they can die. Generally speaking. They may have said, you know what, it's Astro Bot, it's one hit, you just restart right here, instantly, it's fine. And maybe that was the guiding design ethos. Fine. Anyway, Astro Bot. It's still a cute game. But speaking of the odd character out, the Ghost of Yōtei character who is not Square Enix, there was a Sony PlayStation Direct, I forget what they call them, State of Play, whatever it's called, on Ghost of Yōtei this week, and I think it looks neat. There's a lot of extra stuff, but I want to focus on a couple of things that I think will accommodate the game better than the first did. In this game, our hero, Susan, whatever her name is, Susan Yōtei, she uses a regular katana, but she also she switches weapons. So instead of Kevin Tsushima from the first game, uh, he switched stances. He had the water stance and the fire stance and the earth stance or whatever, and the different stances switched up his move sets. So if you were fighting spear enemies, you'd want to be in this stance. If you were fighting giant, big, burly dudes, you'd want to do the other stance. If you're fighting guys with ranged weapons, you'd want to do a different stance, right? In Ghost of Yōtei, Susan Yōtei, she, instead of switching stances, she switches weapons. So she has a katana, she has dual blades, she has a odachi, the big katana one. She has a, I forget what it's called, but it's the chain and sickle weapon. She has, bow and arrow, but she also has firearms, because this takes place a couple centuries forward. I think that's going to work better. I think I prefer that to the stance switching, because the different stances are not subtle, but when you're worried about a bunch of dudes surrounding you throwing rocks at your head, it's like, okay, which stance am I in? How is he holding his sword? Is he holding it like this? Is he holding it like this? Is he holding it like this? Wait, which stance is that? But if, looking at Susan Yōtei and saying, oh, she's holding the spear. Okay, I know which stance. That's the spear stance. Oh, she's holding the chain and sickle. That's the chain and sickle stance. I think that's going to be a lot easier and more accommodating to the players. The other thing I really like about this game is the, at least as presented in the state of play, is Susan Yōtei here is not bothered or bound by any code of honor. She's going to throw mud in your eyes. She's going to use any weapon, any trick, any sneaky thing, and she'll happily jump off a building and stab you in the head. She doesn't really give a damn about honor. She's going to use every dirty trick in the book that she can to end your ass to achieve her goals. I like that better than Kevin Tsushima, who seemed honor-bound. I'm feeling really bad about these lowly ninja tactics that the game is really encouraging me to use. It's like, I've got this entire skill tree for throwing smoke bombs and exploding arrows and having special moves where I jump off a roof and kill 3 people without them ever seeing me. And the ghost of my father keeps showing up. And that's not the proper, honorable way to do it. You bring shame upon the Tsushima family name. I know the character's name is not Tsushima. That's the name of the island. I'm going to keep saying it anyway because it's amusing me. That dichotomy didn't really work for me in the first game. It wasn't a huge impediment. It was just kind of silly. Where the game really wants you to use all the fun ninja tools, but then keeps wagging its finger at you. I'm like, dude, just let me play. In this, in Ghost of Yōtei, it's like, yeah, we're giving you all the tools. Have fun with the tools. Use the tools. We're not going to shame you for engaging in the mechanics that we put into the game for you to play. So, I think that's... Also, there's a doggy. Well, it's a wolf, but, And in the first game, one of the neat little features would be the standoff, where you'd do the honorable thing. You'd, walk out into the field and like, hey, you ragamuffins, you bad guys, you, come face me, you cowards. And then, the music would drop out and go quiet, except for, one... held string sound, and who's gonna go first? It's gonna go first, and and then then the person would try to fake you out, and then they'd draw, and you'd slice them down in one hit, and then the battle would start from there, right? The standoffs. That really cool feature. I like that. In Ghost of Yōtei, apparently there's still the standoffs, but your doggy is there with you, so you can do a dual standoff with your doggy friend. So, Susan Yōtei is standing there, all right, and the dog's like, grr, and you're both waiting for the other guy to stop faking you out and start attacking, and then, Susan slices with her sword, and the dog, I guess, goes for the balls or something. So that looks fun. And, yeah, it looks fun. I'm looking forward to playing it once it drops to $50 or less. I am cheap. No, I am responsible. I am I can't roll R's very well. I am frugal. That's what I tell myself. So Ghost of Yōtei looks neat. Monster Hunter. I like Monster Hunter. It is for me, it's a very zen game. It's a very relaxing thing. It's like knitting is for some people. You might watch someone who just sits there knitting and be like, isn't that boring? It's like, no, it's very calming. It's very zen. For me, Monster Hunter is kind of the same way. Just relaxing, go on a hunt, just beat the snot out of some creature. It's minding its own business. Yeah, it's nice. So, Monster Hunter was updated, had a title update, even though the game's still called Monster Hunter Wilds. Apparently, this is the second title update, and I can't see the difference. It's still called Monster Hunter Wilds. This is also a joke. I understand what a title update is. Not a good joke, granted. Just want to make sure we all know it's a joke. So, title update 2 added Lagiacris, or I guess Lagiacris is the proper pronunciation, but I don't think many people are going to use that. And Seregios, who I'd never played before. That was a monster that was introduced in 4, I believe, which I did not play because it was on the handheld, and I really, really, really did not want to play Monster Hunter on the handheld. Now, I imagine Seregios also reappeared in Generations. Generations Ultimate, which was a port of the 3DS game to the Switch. So, I didn't get that one either. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Seregios was added in Sunbreak, another game I didn't play. I did play Rise, I enjoyed Rise, but I didn't bother with Sunbreak. So this is the first time I've fought Seregios, who is a very rambunctious and mean monster. So I was out in the Windward Plains, the big open fields, right? Lots of tall, wavy grass. Where all the herbivore herds are grazing and, making little baby herbivores and such. And so I'm fighting Seregios, who is a big bipedal dragon monster. And I'm out in the middle of the field among a herd of Saratnoth, which is, big cow monster thing. Just an herbivore. It's harmless. And I noticed that Seregios changes its aggro, refocuses to something else. I assumed it was my Palico, but I'm like, aha! Its focus is not on me. That gives me a moment to sharpen. So Seregios moved out of my field of view because it clearly was focused on something else. So I'm sharpening my hammer, which is still weird to me. It's a blunt object. I don't know why we're sharpening it. And while I'm sharpening, I am suddenly hit in the side of the head with, I'm not sure, just a gigantic brown mass, like a boulder or something. And I go flying ass over tea kettle across the Windward Plains. And finally roll to a stop, get up, and look and see what the hell hit me. And it's the corpse of a Saratnoth. One of the big grazing cow herbivore monsters. Seregios lost its aggro on me because it picked up a giant cow and chucked it at my head from off camera. It's like, son of a bitch, did you just throw a cow at me? I love Monster Hunter. That's funny. I got hit in the side of the head with a cow. Did you throw a Saratnoth at my head? Who throws a Saratnoth? Lagiacris is a lot of fun. It's nice. I really enjoyed. There are elements of the original theme from Try that I like better, but the update is quite nice, and I do like how they went. In the original Try theme for Legiacris, there are elements of the main theme of Monster Hunter Try. There are echoes of the melody line woven into that. In the new Legiacris song in Monster Hunter Wilds, they just take the actual full theme and stick it in. It's like a medley. It's like a medley of the Legiacris theme and the Monster Hunter Tri theme, and then it circles back to the Legiacris, and then the whole thing loops. Really cool. I like it. Let's see what else. So along with the new bits and bobs that you get from the new creatures, there was a side quest or a new event quest that was added this week that allows you to make a new armor piece, which Fashion is the name of the game. So who's dropping the necessary components? Well, it's New Udra, who is the big fiery tentacle octopus monster. And I needed 3 of those, and well, 4 to deck out my cat too. So luckily, I got all the components I needed for this new armor piece. I only had to kill 2 living creatures to do it. And I killed 2 things that were minding their own business, carved off their bits, and what did I make? 1 tube top. Let me show you. There we go. There's my new tube top. 2 giant flaming octopi had to die so that Leslie could wear a tube top. I'm actually kind of proud of this this look. I like the fact that I used the Chotacabra waist because it has the sweater tied around her waist. Because I was like, if she goes to the Hoarfrost no shit, that's World. What's the ice area? Ice Shard Cliff. If Leslie goes to the Ice Shard Cliffs, well, she might get cold. So now she has a sweater. So I'm really pleased with myself for that outfit. You might be wondering why you need to kill 2 gigantic flaming octopi to make 1 tube top, and the answer is Monster Hunter. That's it. What are the skills on the tube top? Probably not much. I honestly don't remember. I'm just using layered armor. I have 2 major sets that I run right now. One is a mostly Zoshia parts, which allows me like super healing, and the other is, I think it's mostly Seregios, which has a set bonus that, in addition to adrenaline, if you dodge something and key on or turn on a proc adrenaline rush, and then you dodge something again, you'll turn on the set bonus, which adds a lot of attack. So I grabbed the bone weapon, which is low sharpness, so it doesn't have really large damage multiplier on it, but it has really high attack value, and loaded up the entire thing with attack gems. So I just dodge, turn on that set bonus, and just beat the ever-loving snot out of monsters. You have to be careful, because if you get it doesn't have it, you don't regen damage like my other set does, but it's kind of the difference between play comfy, you can't die because your health keeps regenerating, or you can die if you get hit a bunch of times, but, you know, smack things in the face really hard. Lots of fun. There was also, in Title 2 update, possibly the greatest addition to any version of Monster Hunter that has ever been done. A feature so amazing that I hope they bring it back as a recurring feature. A feature so stupendous, so amazing. I am so in love with this feature, and no one on the internet really seemed to care about it at all, which made me a little sad. They added a literal fashion show to Monster Hunter Wilds. There's a new quest that says, go craft these 5 armor pieces, and so that you can wear them in a fashion show. And this actually is rather smart game design, I think, because it teaches you, one, about layered armor, two, about dyeing armor, and three, about the wonderment that is fashion hunting. It also kind of forces it, well, if you engage with a quest, it forces you to go get materials that you might not have got before, because I think one piece of it is Chotacabra, which is the first monster, so you probably have the pieces for that. But others are from some small monsters like the Piragil, the little swimmy monsters, and the Balatro, not Balatro, that's the card game. It's a giant bug monster, which you may not have killed a bunch and carved, so you may not have those pieces and may not have crafted those. I actually had. I didn't have to go out hunting anything. I had all the components because I kill everything that walks across my path, and I carve everything that's dead. So I have lots of equipment. And one of the required pieces takes pinnacle coins, I think, which are awarded from the Gathering Hub's quest counter. Quest, special challenge quest, whatever the hell they're called. So in order to complete this quest, you have to hunt some small monsters that you might not have hunted before, engage with layered equipment and dyeing, as in changing the colors, and also do the arena. That's what I was looking for. The arena quest, which maybe you hadn't engaged with. It's a really great organic in-game way to get players to experience elements of the play experience that they may not have engaged with before, which is great game design. So once you go get go put on the bits that you're supposed to put on using the layered system, or grab the components and craft them and then put them on as layered components, you go back to Gemma and then she dyes it for you. And then you're entered into a fashion show, and it's a full walking down the runway and posing and having all kinds of flashy lights and little sparklers going off, and the other hunters from the other units all have their own fashion sets, and it's really, really wonderful, and it's hilarious, and I love it, and no one else really seemed to give a shit. But I seriously hope that they keep doing this. Like, every couple of months we have a new fashion show, and you're required to get other components that you may not have engaged with before. Most of the components that you get are really early, so it's Chatacabra, it's one of the arena quests, and it's some low-level small monsters. But maybe as they do more fashion shows, you might have to get a piece that requires like Arkveld equipment, or something that requires like getting one of the really rare drops like gems or something. That could be really cool. Or, you have to go get some stuff from like Arc-Tempered Ray Dow or something. I think that's really great, and I love the fashion bit. The only thing that I'm a little bothered with is, so far as I can tell, they don't allow you, they didn't like hand out the other fashion sets that you see in the fashion show. I would have loved to save all of those sets and just wear them myself, because they're a lot of fun. If you've got the eye for it, you're like, okay, that's the secret waist, and the I don't know, the Kimatrice hat, and you can, if you're really into this stuff, you'll probably recognize the pieces, but matching the dyes is going to be a challenge for many people. I'm also I was hoping that occasionally the characters would be dressed in their fashion show outfits, and so far as I've seen, they're not. I've been inviting them on my hunting quests routinely, and I've never seen them wear them. I have heard on the internets that occasionally they will show up in their fashion outfits, but I've yet to see it. I think that would be great, but I ain't seen it yet, so oh well. So yeah, really enjoying Monster Hunter Wilds still. We've got the new festival coming up in a week or two. I think Arc Tempered Uthduna, the big fish whale monster thing, is coming out soon. So lots of good stuff, and so we can wander around murdering monsters and carving their bits to make very small pieces of clothing. This is the way. So, that's not all I have, but I think that's all I want to talk about tonight. I do have some other things to talk about, but they're kind of negative, and I don't want to talk about negative stuff. I want to talk about stuff that makes me happy. So, I think we'll call it here for tonight. So, tomorrow we will be continuing on in Cold Steel, Cold Steel 2. And I'm ready to make a new prediction. I had predicted early on that someone in Class 7 is going to bite the dust, kick the bucket, die by the end of the Cold Steel series. That was my prediction. One of the members of Class 7, someone's going to die. All right? I'm going to predict who it's going to be. Something happened in the last stream that made me really heavily consider one of the Class 7 members. I went, oh, could it be this member? I'm going to have to think about why it wouldn't be someone else. So I gave it some thinkage this week, and I'm going to make a prediction on which Class 7 member bites the dust. Of course, that doesn't mean a Class 7 member will bite the dust. Rarely do any of the main cast die in these games. We've had a very fair few of characters that we know who've actually bit the dust on screen. We know a bunch of dead people, like Estelle's mom has been dead since before the first game started. But a lot of bad guys have died, right? Gunter died. George died. Weissman. So there's a couple people who have bucked the kick it. I forget who it was who was in the guard tower in Nord in the last game. That guy died. Can never remember his name. It's barely a character, but it was one character who we shared like one scene with before the attack on the tower happened. So it's not necessarily that anyone is going to die, but that's what makes predictions fun. Someone from Class 7 is going to die, and tomorrow I'll tell you who I predict it will be. So, hopefully nothing will go wrong. Yeah, if those of you don't know what Jared's talking about, 2 of the streams in the last month I've had to cancel because buffering issues. But in the last 2 weeks, I have not dropped a single frame, so continue to cross fingers, I guess. So anyway, that's it for tonight. Hope you enjoyed listening to me ramble about video games and such, and I'll see you tomorrow for more video games. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.